everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're just going to get started in a couple of minutes, but if you'd like, please feel free to share your name and where you're joining us from in the chat.
Hi, Lindsay.
Hi.
I guess we're waiting for some of my colleagues to join and start off.
Yes, once everyone joins, we'll be sure to get started. Thank you all for joining us today. We're very excited to be meeting with all of you.
Awesome. Let's see.
Hey, Arvind, if it's all right with you, is it okay if we get started?
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. No, thank you so much. I'm just going to share my screen. All right, awesome. So hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Lindsay Josephs, and I'm a marketing specialist at Openstax. And we're joined by Arvind and Clifton and a few other colleagues from Lrnr, one of Openstax technology partners. And we're super excited to talk to you all today about teaching biology and anatomy and physiology with an enhanced Openstax Smart textbook, adaptive quizzes, live polling, and interactive lecture slides. So most of you probably already know what Openstax is, but if you're new to Openstax, there are a few key things that you'll want to know. First, Openstax is a nonprofit and is located in Houston, Texas. We are part of Rice University, and we're able to create and offer our free resources due to grants from foundations, smaller donations from individual contributors, and mission support fees from our technology partners like Lrnr. So anytime an instructor chooses to pair one of our textbooks with a technology partner, we get a small mission support feedback that helps to sustain our work. In addition, Openstax is mission-oriented, and our mission is to transform learning so that education works for every student and is ultimately more accessible and affordable. Lastly, one of our main areas of work is publishing free, openly licensed peer-reviewed textbooks. And since 2012, we have published over 45 textbooks, thereby saving students over $1.7 billion. Now, you just heard me say that Openstax offers openly licensed textbooks, but what exactly does this mean? We have a fantastic definition up here on the screen from the William and Flora Hewlett Foundation, which is a huge supporter of OER. So in essence, OER are any educational materials that are publicly available, don't cost anything to use, and don't have any restrictions on them that limit how users can modify the content. As I mentioned before, one of the main components of Openstax is that we offer over 45 textbooks in the areas of math, science, the social sciences, the humanities, business, and college success. All of our books are designed to meet the standard scope and sequence requirements of their respective courses and are written and reviewed by industry experts. In addition, each of our books goes through an extensive editorial process to ensure that the content is clear, up to date, accurate, and inclusive and representative of diverse audiences. Lastly, each of our books receive regular editorial updates, so instructors can submit errata suggestions on our website for our subject matter experts to review. We revise our books when it's pedagogically necessary, so we'll publish a new edition entirely if there are significant developments in a field, while we regularly update the web view of our books with smaller updates in regards to accuracy and clarity. Lastly, our textbooks look a lot like the other textbooks that are out there on the market. However, unlike other textbooks that aren't OER, Openstax's textbooks are 100% free and are available under an open license. So instructors can modify, revise, and rearrange the content to meet their course and teaching needs. Here at Openstax, we offer much more than just free textbooks. For example, comes with a suite of instructor and student resources like LMS course cartridges, test banks, and lecture slides. Additionally, we also offer free webinars like this one and blogs on a variety of topics like developments made to our books, tips for using our resources, and teaching strategies. Another way that we help instructors is through Openstax Tutor, our flagship courseware platform that is integrated with 10 of our books and our support center. So if you need to gather some resources or tips on how to use our resources, the support center is a fantastic resource to find everything that you need in one place. We also offer Openstax Tech Scout. So we know that digital technologies are essential for teaching, especially in today's hybrid learning environment, and that finding the right technology for your course can be incredibly challenging. So we've decided to streamline this process through offering a searchable tool on our website where you can look for courseware, online homework, etc., that aligns with the textbook that you're using and that meets your teaching needs. And Lrnr is one of the amazing technology tools that you can find through Tech Scout. As part of our work to make education more accessible and more affordable, we partner with learning technology companies like Lrnr that offer low-cost, high-value education technology resources. Lrnr in particular offers personalized courseware like smart textbooks with enhanced images, homework tools and solutions like multiple choice quiz banks and activity banks, and classroom engagement tools like live polling and lecture slides that are aligned with dozens of Openstax textbooks, including biology and anatomy and physiology. In the process, Lrnr helps to enrich the Openstax experience for instructors and students alike, and ultimately helps to provide the financial support that Openstax needs to keep our books up to date and openly available for everyone. So that was just a bit about Openstax and what we offer in our mission. And now I would love to hand it over to Lrnr to begin their portion of the presentation.
Awesome.
Hey everyone. Oh, go ahead, Arvind.
Yeah, please go ahead, Clifton.
Let me just share my screen here. Okay, all right, so thank you everyone for joining us. My name is Clifton Hartsoff. I'm on the customer success team. We also have Arvind and Anna with us as well. She'll be speaking after me. So we are Lrnr. We were founded to customize and accent Openstax. And so we started about 5 years ago. Arvind, our founder, came from Pearson, the large publishers. He realized that looking around the landscape, that there was a great opportunity to accent the awesome OER resources that were out there. And it hadn't really been taken advantage of yet in order to reduce costs for students and provide a really great classroom experience. So a few things about us. So we were started 2015. Arvind is our founder. So we feature 3D models, physical models, Cadaver, Histology, and virtual labs. A little bit later, we're going to do a brief demo, give you a quick summary just so you understand exactly what we do and why we do it. And then we will do some quick Q&A. So starting with who we are, Lrnr is on a social impact with a mission to democratize the cost of course solutions without compromising that quality. So we do that by creating personalized courseware, homework solutions, and classroom engagement tools, which are aligned to open ed standards, in this case, Openstax. And we have, where we're going now in the future is an all-inclusive library of personalized courseware by 2025, which will cover all of STEM for 100 to 300 levels, and it will be $80 per year. So it's an exciting future, much more affordable than it is today. A few things about us. So the courses that we've developed, these are all aligned to your pedagogy and syllabus. That's one of the things we noticed right away, is that every faculty is different, every course is different, even if they're teaching the same subject. We have to make it as customized as possible. So we have accented OpenStax using formative content. So that's question and activities built from scratch. So we don't use the OpenStax banks. Fully integrated with all of the LMSs that are out there with great sync. So that's Canvas, Blackboard, D2L, Brightspace, Moodle. We offer a 2-week trial for students. That's to ensure that all students have access on the first day of their class. Customer support is a big area for us. We provide 7 days a week for the first 6 weeks of the semester or a quarter, then 6 days a week for the rest of the term. And giving back is a huge part of what we do. That's part of why we were founded. So 5% of revenue is given to fund disadvantaged students to make sure that they can get access to the great classroom materials that they really need. So a few things about our courses. We have 21 courses overall. We started in the life science areas. So we have enhanced A&P textbooks, lab textbooks, and human biology. Thousands of activities and questions among them, new topics and activities being added all the time. Our A&P Lab textbook was actually built with the help of a grant from Minnesota. So we were able to go into their lab, take high quality images, and really capture how they're doing things and reproduce it digitally to the best of our abilities. Same thing for biology, non-majors and majors, biology labs, microbiology, and what's new for us is environmental biology. Again, very high quality courses, thousands of activities. In biology labs, we've actually been able to use a CUNY grant to develop a virtual lab experiments. We have 23 so far, 20 more coming soon. So we're expanding the universe of questions and ways that students can learn digitally online. Again, with holding down that price so that it becomes more affordable over time. So these are the wide number of courses that we have. You can see the ones in black. Those are the ones that are available today. The ones that are grayed out slightly, those are coming soon by the end of the year or by spring of next year. So we have really affordable pricing. Per course pricing is $20 to $40. And what we feel is probably the best model is the library model, so that students can get access to all of the courses per year across all of these different subjects, and it's only $80. So it's less than the cost of a textbook in some other courses. Something else to note that these courses actually, if the student were to drop out, they would be able to take the course at, say they dropped out in the spring and they could take it in the fall. They wouldn't have to pay the fee again. It's understood that sometimes students have to add and drop courses. And after that, we'll take it over to Arvind.
Hey, thank you. So let's do a little bit of a deep dive into each course that stands. I think that after this, we'll do a brief demo, and I'll try to cover as much as we can because there's a lot to cover. So every single course that we have is structured very similarly, even though it says A&P Smart Textbook. Every single life science course, because we're talking about biology, is a smart textbook, and I'll tell you why. So for the A&P textbook, we do also have embedded 3D models, images in 3D models that we have enhanced. where students can simply click on a specific model in line and then get the 3D rendition of that, that's the visualization of that. I know that there are other providers also that do it, but we are very tightly coupled with Openstax, and that's the only thing we do. We only align to OpenAid. Our adaptive sidebar, and the reason why it's called a smart textbook is we have curated a whole bunch of videos, simulations, we have created flashcard decks, we have built activities and questions. And all of that sits on the right-hand side. You'll see on the right-hand side of the screen, I'll show it to you in the demo. And what happens is as you're scrolling through content, all the content, supplemental content that is relevant to the topics that are being shown on the screen, so whatever is visible on the screen, that's what shows up on the right. And that could be activities in 3D or in cadaver-based activities, simulations, the whole 9 yards. So I'll show that to you in a bit. Let's go to the next slide, please. So students can also annotate, which is very typical of most e-reader platforms online. The fundamental difference is that when students create bookmarks, annotation, and notes, we also create a study guide for them based on the notes that they've created, so that it's a single place where they can look at all of their notes, and then all the notes and highlights and bookmarks are linked back to the Openstax text. So it's almost like building a study guide for yourself for your midterm and final exams, which is also hot linked to the textbook to know where exactly you took those notes. Next slide, please. So assessment content. So obviously we have our question banks, which are separate from our activities. Our question banks are aligned to, every single question is aligned to a specific paragraph or a topic in the textbook in Openstax. So it becomes very easy for students to remediate, and I'll show that to you. We have multiple banks, call it bank A and bank B. One of the banks is hidden, so that's only accessible when you're building your assignments, so that students have never seen these questions before. You can actually use it for your midterm and final exam for testing. 70% of the questions that we've written from the ground up, when I say we, it's actually we're partnered with instructors such as yourself, and we've actually gotten questions created for us and activities created for us, and they're written at a higher level of Bloom's. And 99% of our questions have right and wrong answer feedback. So every single distractor is related to the correct answer, and those distractors also have feedback. It's an instructional point. Next slide, please. Assignments, as you know, all this activities and everything else we have needs to be assigned, otherwise students won't do it. You can build homework assignments, you can build tests, you can build live polling, which we'll talk in a bit. You can customize quizzes and activities. You can actually add your own activities and questions and then mix and match with what we have. All of our quizzes are adaptive in nature. We use item response theory. And if anybody wants to understand more about it, we can talk offline. You could build templates, assignment templates that can be reused semester after semester. And you can also share it with other colleagues of yours so that they don't have to create all the assignments from the ground up. You can automate the submission process. Obviously, when you automate the submission process, once the student has submitted the assignment, automatically the grades get pushed to your individual LMS grade books. And for Canvas, you also can deep link your assignments that each of the Lrnr assignment actually shows up in the Canvas assignment module. And we're working on other platforms as well to do the same. Next slide, please. So we do have new features. We realized that apart from asynchronous learning, and especially because of COVID, virtual classrooms, remote classrooms became a reality a lot more than anticipated. So we do have live polling capability now built into Lrnr, which engages obviously faculty to interact with students rather than be a one-way direction lecture. We also have live lecture slides. Next slide, please. where instructors can actually upload their own lecture slides and then embed activities in between these lecture slides, so that after, let's say, a complex topic like action potential or, what have you, like DNA replication or something like that, you could ask specific questions to get the efficacy of the class and then remediate based on answers. Next slide, please. So I think ADA compliance is always a big question mark. All of our content is written in HTML5, so it's responsive, it's accessible by screen readers and so on, except our image and 3D model based activities. Everything else on Lrnr is fully ADA compliant. Image activities by themselves, by definition, saying, hey, look at the image and tell me what's doing. So obviously, if I explain what the image is doing, then it defies the purpose. So those types of activities are not going to be ADA compliant, even though publishers tout they are. No, they're not. We have excellent customer support, and we'll talk about that in a bit. Next slide, please. So let's focus on each of these best practices and how we have been able to build all these capabilities based on the best practices that we've learned from instructors such as yourself. Let's talk about histology first. So next slide, please. So in histology, obviously, again, I'm preaching to the choir. I'm not a biologist by any means, and I've learned a lot from folks like yourself. I think it's very important to understand the building blocks of the human body and to obviously recognize, different types of tissues and differentiate between structure and function. So we do have a lot of histological slides in Lrnr where you can actually zoom up to 40x. We have built as part of the CUNY grant that we got, which we are still in the middle of the grant program. We have built a whole bunch of histological slides using the same slides as separate activities that you could pick from. And if you do not like any of the activities that we've already built for histological slides, you can always take a screenshot of slides we already have and then build your own activities on Lrnr. Next slide, please. So for 3D models, we have the male and female model. We have a partnership with Zygote Body. So whatever you're seeing here is all part of Zygote Body. Thanks to the grant that we got from the Department of Education, Minnesota, we were able to license these models and then build activities on top of it. So not just giving you free access to the models, and we also have 18 different sub-models or detailed models and 40 different pathologies. So students can do free roaming, but apart from that, you can have activities that are assignable. Now, the good news about activities that are in 3D is it cannot be easily copied over to Chegg or Quizlet or Coursera or whatever. So it becomes hard to copy such activities. Next slide, please. And obviously, the 3D models do supplement physical models. Now, as part of the CUNY grant, the other thing that we had to do was to go to their labs and also to a couple of other partner college labs, which are closer to me. I live in California. And we were able to take high quality photographs of pretty much all the models and all the slides that I could get my hands on. And that way, we wanted to kind of make this into a pre-lab activity, even post-COVID. Students can obviously interact with even these models because once they go into the lab, they're like, oh yeah, I've already seen this before, right? So we've built a whole bunch of activities using even these models, and they're also available at for you guys to use to build your own activities if the ones that we have are not useful. Next slide, please. Cadaver. So we have human cadaver-based photographs, a ton of them. And the approach that we take is, I always feel that, you need to bring the student to reality as soon as possible. And I've learned from you that cadavers are not easily accessible. A lot of colleges don't even have access to cadavers. And the colleges do have access to cadavers. It's not like the student can walk into a lab and just, say, hey, I want to look at it. So what we've done is we've taken a model and a cadaver and put it side by side and built activities So that way it shows them the difference between a model which looks all colored and color coded, and then an actual cadaver which doesn't look anything like a model, to get that relevance built in. And we have a lot of cross-sectional images and things like that. Next slide, please. And finally, the virtual labs. So I've always believed that you cannot obviously swim, but if you don't obviously fall in the water. So the goal of these virtual labs is really to build key concepts. So you're basically reinforcing key concepts. You're also building some discipline. So with some of the experiments we've built, it's more about causing a lot of pain for students to follow direction, so that when they go to the actual lab, they're not wasting a lot of resources. And most of the time, students miss the outcome because of the procedure that they've followed or not followed, or the instructions that have not been followed. So we make them follow these instructions, and then we focus on concept building. And if we have time, we'll also show that to you in a minute. Next slide, please. All right, let's do a quick demo, and then we'll open up for Q&A. Okay, so let me just share my screen. I think you can you stop sharing? Thank you. All right. Okay. So this is our Lrnr dashboard. I'm just trying to put this somewhere so I don't have to deal with this. Okay, so this is the Lrnr dashboard. Let's quickly go into the Learn view. And I'm sure, so biology, intro biology, majors biology, all the other courses that we have follow the similar structure. In the interest of time, I'm taking A&P, but you can expect the same thing for other courses as well. So this is your typical Openstax textbook. As you can see on the left-hand side, these are the table of contents. And as I'm clicking through this, let me just go into the skull, or maybe the divisions of the skeletal system. And we have also added 80 new topics that were actually missing in the Openstax text. And again, feedback from instructors such as yourself, or we have enhanced, wherever it says enhancement, we have enhanced the Openstax text. Wherever there's a new topic, we have added new topics, like fontanelle doesn't exist in the Openstax text, so we've added that. And let me scroll through content and show you some of the other changes we've done. So this is what I was talking about. Let me make it a little bigger. So we have these types of images inbuilt or embedded in line, and we've built a lot of scenes using this. And you can also click on Explore in 3D. So it actually loads the specific model in 3D for you to look at. Okay. So on the right-hand side, like I mentioned before, there is a whole bunch of activities, drag and drop activities, 3D activities, cadaver activities will show up at some point. Videos, there's a cadaver activity. Terms and definitions. So it depends on what the student is looking at on the screen here. Everything here is related to what the student is seeing. But as you know, most students don't do it this way, right? Maybe you can expect 10 to 15% of your class maybe will study the textbook and and then do all this. Most of the students want to do their assignments first and come back here. So whatever I'm showing you right now is all the things that we have. But as an instructor, if you're already using the Openstax textbook, it's way easy to access all the supplemental content that you can assign. I'll show that to you as well. So let me just show you a couple of different types of activities from here, and then we will go into. So these are the leader lines. Obviously these are, you can zoom in, zoom out. This is an activity or reordering activity. In Lrnr, our help is really, really good. The reason why I say that is if the student is coming for the very first time, they get this little tooltip. And if they don't understand that, they can simply click on help. And the help matches, the activity that they're doing. So they don't have to go inside help again, search for that activity type. It always takes them to a specific help that's required by them, if that makes sense. Okay. So and we have probably about 35 different activity types, out of which we probably have used around 10 to 15 activity types for anatomy and physiology and biology. And this is you need to label based on what that leader line is. And you can always, as an instructor, you can click on show answer. And as an instructor, you can also report an issue right for each activity. We have disabled this for students. We did that, enabled it once, and it was a disaster. So we disabled that for students, and it's only there for instructors. So we also have selection-based activities like this one, where it's asking, select the following a bone that makes up the walls of the orbit. If I select the mandible and say check answer, it gives me wrong answer feedback. And if I select one of the bones and say check answer, it'll tell me the bone I selected, as well as all the other bones that make up the walls of the orbit. Again, you can find all these activities all around, in different different parts of the textbook. And all of our activities are aligned to the specific chapter section, not just the chapter. All of our quizzes, same thing, aligned to chapter section and not chapter. So let's look at a cadaver activity real quick. So this is where we show the cadaver. We also show the model. And again, every single activity type, if you don't know how to do it, just hover or click on help. And they have to type the answer. So they can always compare that to the cadaver. And then for the A, B's, and C's, they type the answer. I'm just going to show answer. So those are different types of cadaver activities that we've built in. And for labs, let me just go quickly to A&P Labs. We've also built physical model-based activities. And remember, I was talking to you about all the physical models in this, as part of the grant program, we built a whole bunch of activities using high resolution photographs of physical models that you can find in the lab. So it's very highly unlikely that you'll not find a model here, because we've gone to 3 different pretty large institutions and picked up all the models that we could get our hands on. So if there's something that's missing, please let us know and we'll try to add it. Okay, so we're done with cadaver-based activities, physical model-based activities. Let me also show you histology-based activities. So anything that has a prefix called histology will be a histology-based activity. Let's just try again. So we have a whole bunch of histological slides in each of the, so we have our own lab manual, anatomy and physiology lab manual. It does not follow the fetal pig. It does not follow the cat. It follows the human cadaver. We are planning to introduce the fetal pig because we have all the assets for that as well. And this is obviously the histological slides. And let me just take you back to our media, where I'm going to show you hopefully a histological slide. It takes a little bit of time. There you go. Where this is all the way in. Okay, so where we can zoom in. And like I said, if there's a particular activity that you don't find in Lrnr, you could always, take a screenshot of this and build your own activities on Lrnr. Okay. So I've showed you pretty much every different activity type. We also, as part of labs, we have simulations, assignable simulations. We have everything from the Benedict's test, the iodine test, all the way to DNA extraction, streak plate method, and simple things like microscopy. I think in the interest of time, we're already at 11:34. If anybody is interested in this to learn more about simulations, I'd be more than happy to give you a personalized demo and we also have excellent videos online that kind of show you the type of demos the type of simulations and experiments we have. So finally, coming back to Lrnr, this could be a lot overwhelming for all of you guys. So like I mentioned to you before, when you're building your assignments, we have an assignments module. So you go to your dashboard and just click on assignments. From your assignments module, you can create pretty much a homework or a test. And while you're doing your homework, creating your homework, you can preview everything that Lrnr has to offer you. So you don't have to go search for stuff. Do you have this or do you have that? Let's take cardiovascular system as an example. You can type in your instructions. You can pick what the students will study. And remember that for Lrnr, we can create a custom course from multiple titles. It takes us less than a couple of hours to build that. We have a graphical interface. We can mix and match and then build your custom course for you. So you don't have to stick to just the A&P textbook or the biology textbook. You can simply say that, okay, I want 6 chapters from this and 3 from that, and you can let us know and we'll just build that in the order that you want it to be built, and also remove chapter sections that you don't need. All right, so let's go to cardiovascular system, the heart. Again, same thing. You might, in cardiac physiology, I'm just giving you a random example. You don't want to probably cover caffeine. You can let students know that, hey, that's your syllabus and that's what you want them to study before they do the assignments. Videos, again, you can preview all the videos that we have right here.
Here at the heart.
And if some of these videos you feel are meaningful for your students, you can just select those. And again, these are all study-based activities. And then activities is where you can find all the different activity types. So for cardiovascular system, remember I told you that each of these, Cadaver, and there's 2D as well. You can select those and then you can customize that in a minute. Let me just show that to you. Same thing with the practice quizzes. Select the chapter, select different topics or different subsections here. And then finally, you can activities, you can customize them or you make them graded, otherwise students will not do it. And here in 3D or Cadaver or heart anatomy, you can customize the activity as you hover on the names. Again, you don't have to learn any of this. It's just a quick demo. We'll give you personalized demos if you're interested. Every activity type shows up in a label. You expand each of these, click on show answer. So you know exactly what the answers are before you assign it. If you like all the activities we provide, you can just come out of it. But if you want to customize it, you can. You could also build your own activity. I've just built one for random, and then add that and build a custom activity. The same thing, and these are the grade points that will transfer to your gradebook. So there's 15 points, and those transfer to your gradebook of choice or your LMS of choice. And again, I'm doing the same thing for practice quizzes. For heart anatomy, I'm going to customize it. So let me just zoom in a little bit. So again, everything is organized by higher level of blooms to lower level of blooms. So you don't have to search for stuff. And you can expand each of these questions and figure out, okay, what's the answer? What are the feedback? So essentially, you get to see everything before you even select questions, or you can simply say, let's keep it adaptive. Okay, I'm going to select a few questions, save it, and then finally give grade points to this as well. And here I can select, let's say you're teaching multiple class sections. You can have different due dates, start dates, and end dates. So this is how, especially if you're using Blackboard or Moodle or D2L, Brightspace, you might have multiple course shells, but in Lrnr, all the class sections, you can access it at once, so you can create assignments at one shot. So, and you can have the same timelines or different timelines, and you can also extend it for specific students to accommodate 508 compliance. So that's really how you build your assignments. And you can preview pretty much everything that Lrnr has to offer. So your onboarding is very, very fast if you're already familiar with the Openstax textbook. The only other thing I didn't show you is our adaptive quizzing, and we have some phenomenal quizzing capabilities that you probably may or may not have seen. So I'm just answering a question. I do not know the answer. I click on reference link. It takes me to a specific area in the textbook for active transport. I click back on cell membrane, and hopefully I still do not know the answer. So that's how you get the platform always gives the student the right answer. That's one of the reasons why all the questions that we have, the number of questions that are being copied over to Chegg or Quizlet or something else is very, very small, very minute. And we refresh our questions every 12 to 18 months after we find the questions that are there. This is another question. So I gave an incorrect spelling. We have an algorithm that actually checks for the correct spelling, tells the student what the correct spelling is. And hopefully I can show you how some of these hybrid questions work real quick. Okay, this is a hybrid question. If I simply do not get it right a couple of times, it converts to a multiple choice. It becomes a question from a more difficult question to a less difficult question. Again, different ways that we help students, get more, improve their efficacy. So I think that I've given quite a bit of information. We also have fantastic analytics. You can go down, drill down deeper, get a question level analytics, and also student level analytics for each of these assignments. And in the interest of time, I'll kind of stop now, and we'll just do a quick overview of live polling. So with live polling and lecture slides, like I said, you can build your own quizzes for a live poll. And you also can upload your own lecture slides. In this case, we have used the OpenStax slides, and we've used a specific example, basically A&P, the cardiovascular system. So you could beam the slides right from here, and you also can have a password for attendance and stuff. And let's just quickly I'll quickly show you some of the capabilities of Lrnr. So you could annotate. So if you're already familiar with Top Hat or Kahoot or some of these slide tools, it'll look familiar, but there are differences as well. So here, this is a click on target based activity. Students are expected to click on the image and drop a pin. And you can obviously annotate, bookmark, and highlight. So no, not bookmark and highlight. You can annotate on the slide deck, and students will be able to see what you're annotating. Even if you're not presenting your screen, they'll still be able to see it on their own mobile devices or tablets or desktop. So we are building this capability, and by fall, we'll have some more features with live polling. And once your poll is done, again, the grades sync back to your gradebook. So that's the nice thing. Instead of using another point solution like Zoom or Kahoot or Nearpod or any of these with Lrnr, you also get the live polling solution, and students don't have to just go to their assignments module and they'll find their live poll, the test their homework. So it's less technology burden for them from a learning standpoint. And I think that's basically it from my end. I'm going to stop sharing, and Clifton, you can take over, please.
Sure, we'll jump straight back in here. Okay, so just to summarize, custom courses built on Openstax. You're able to assign quizzes and activities. You can conduct live polls with slides. LMS integration with all 4 of the large ones. Obviously, grade sync. We have a 2-week trial for students, robust customer support and onboarding support when you're starting. And then our Lrnr give back pledge, that 5%. So that's another added benefit. So these are some testimonials. You can actually see these on the Openstax website. Take a close look at them. We're 5-star rated, and we've always had very good ratings, even from the very beginning when we were sparse in content and just getting started. We really make up and we do well on customer service and onboarding so that we make sure that everything is customized to faculty and the best student standards. So the next stage in the process is quite simple. We call this the hero's journey. So you've gotten a basic overview, but certainly nothing like a personalized demo. We've included a demo link. I saw it pop up in the chat there. So feel free to click into that, give us a time and date when we can sit down and actually do a personalized demo for your exact needs. So that's step 2 in the process. After that, we would issue you a logins, and we'll segment out exactly the courses and the chapters that you want. And then if everything is a green light from you, then we have only 3 steps left. So course setup would be us communicating with you, finding out exact chapters, and they could be within other subdomains. So if you like a microbiology chapter and you're teaching a different subject and you wanted to use that, we're happy to customize you for that. We're happy to customize that for you. Onboarding is about 60 to 90 minutes. That includes another demo, walking you through the setup process for assignments, and we're always available for follow-ups. Customer service team, myself, always available. And the last part is the LMS integration. So that's a handoff to the LMS administrator, and we get you set up there. So this gives you a good idea as to how long it will take as we get you towards using OER in your classroom every day, and you walk with us down this journey as we continue to lower prices and get more and more content in OER. So these are the next steps. Number 1, you could say, sign me up, I'm ready to go. Number 2, need a personal demo. Everyone has their own person. They have their own quirks and things that they like to have in their courses, and faculty love to customize, so we're happy. Number 4, undecided. Number 5, not convinced. Let us know. Something we could do better. We love feedback, and we're using OER. We need to adapt and try to produce the best content that we can. So thank you so much from all of us at Lrnr. We definitely would love to meet you. You can find a demo link in the chat and also at learnfast.com/demo. Contact us at adopt@learnfast.com. My number is 571-766-6093. And please tune in again for a live polling webinar. That will be on March 3rd. Watch for invites coming out from Openstax. And we look forward to showing you how live polling works. That comes with every Lrnr instance. It's not extra or something special. It's just what we do. It's part of who we are. So we'll take time for questions now. Thank you very much.
So yeah, if there are any questions, please let us know. We have 10-15 minutes where we could actually answer your questions. If there is a specific question that's popping up, let me know and I can actually answer those questions. All right. Yeah, I think, okay, now I'm seeing all the chat on the right. So, okay, so students have access for one term, and if they flunk or they get an incomplete, they can retake the course for, let's say they signed up in fall and they fail or they get an incomplete, they can take the course again in spring or in summer for free. Now we restrict access to assignments and gradebook simply because after the term ends, we don't want them to pass on all that information to the juniors. Then it becomes a lot more burden for instructors to recreate all their assignments all over again. So what they have access to is the practice quizzes and the learn mode and basically the formative content, but they will not have access to their previous assignments that they've already done once the semester ends, because we don't want them to pass that information over to their juniors or girlfriends or boyfriends or whatever, right? So that's why we restrict that. The rest of it, they have access forever. We've never removed access from any student. So yeah, we have institutional access. We have a lot of people, a lot of colleges that have inclusive access models. Since we are not a physical textbook, everything that we do is completely digital. We have the same thing. It's $40 for the for lectures, $20 for the lab. If it's an integrated course, that means if you're teaching a single course that covers both lecture and lab, it's still only $40. So none of our courses are over $40, right? However you think about it. And then we have a library access model, which is $80 for the year, that gets access to all of our courses. It's not a per student basis, it's a per seat basis. So the difference is, let's say there is 500 students that enroll in the fall semester for biology department, let's say your math department will use it later. Let's just keep that as an example. So if you buy 500 seats from us and you give it to 500 unique students, and let's say 100 of them actually drop out, get an incomplete, and for the spring semester, a different 100 join. Okay, so you can reuse that 100 that the students that left, and you can reuse the 100 and give it to the new 100 students. So essentially for us, it's unique students, unique seats, and not unique students. So essentially you actually save a lot of money, because you're not paying $80 for each individual student. You're actually paying for a seat. Yes, it was covered in the beginning. LMS, we integrate into all the major LMSs. We integrate into Canvas, Moodle, D2L or Brightspace, and Blackboard, and all the grades sync back to your LMS. The 2-week trial is only possible if you have LMS integration, because otherwise we cannot recognize students very easily. And what else? If you're using Canvas, we also can deep link or hot link all the assignments you build on Lrnr. And the nice thing about Lrnr is you can build all your assignments at the beginning of the semester, and it only shows up on student assignment module on the day of the start date. So you can pretty much build everything and keep it ready. Okay, so if you're familiar with mastering A&P or mastering bio from Pearson, Lrnr works no differently, right? None of this gets embedded into your learning management. So the question is, can you talk about how parts of your resources like 3D models embed in an LMS? So students basically go into your LMS, learning management system, go into the course, let's say Canvas, Moodle, D2L, doesn't matter. They'll have a Lrnr link there. They'll click on the Lrnr link. It opens up either a new window or it opens up an iframe within your LMS, and everything works within that. So essentially the setup is up to you. You could either have it inside a smaller window or have students go into a different window so we can use all the real estate, and that's where they access everything. Any other questions? I think Lindsay can send access to pretty much everybody on the video that we've recorded today, or the meeting that we've had today?
Yes, tomorrow we'll send out a recording of the webinar, and you can also access the chat from the recording of the webinar. So you'll be able to access this anytime you need for further reference.
Got it. So again, and for folks who are here who like to try this out for summer, because you've attended the webinar and you want to try it out, pilot out Lrnr for summer, we're more than happy to accommodate that for you guys to make a decision for the fall semester. So yeah, if you want trials for the summer, we're open for the entire department. You can have free access to Lrnr with all your students. We'll set up all the learning management system integration, the whole 9 yards. So that's one of the advantages of joining such webinars, that we kind of give away free stuff. So as part of this webinar, if you're interested and you want to use this for summer as a trial, we can do that department wide, and that will give you more insights into Lrnr. And anybody who's interested in a demo account, please, just schedule a demo with us, and then we will send you, a demo account with all access at the end of the demo, and we'll give you a personalized demo based on your needs. And so let's see. Central Texas College. Okay, so Andrea Foskett, I'd love to further explore Openstax Learn resources. Do you offer free trial? Okay, so I think we already talked about it. And in fact, one of our first authors was from Central Texas College. I think she retired. So have I not answered any of the questions? Please let me know. Taking a look. Sure. So Jeremy Ingraham, we have 80 new topics and 40 plus enhanced topics that we have. And please schedule a demo. We'll give you a demo account, and you can play around with all the enhanced topics. We'll even give you a list of the topics, so you don't have to go search for them. In which chapter, which section, where we have these enhancements, so you can actually take a look. And you might also be interested in our A&P lab, which is completely written from the ground up. We have used assets of Openstax wherever need be, but the goal was to have a sister textbook to the Openstax A&P textbook, so that goes hand in hand. Because I know that a lot of instructors or a lot of colleges have started creating their own A&P lab manual per se, because they don't have a choice, but now you do.
All right, if those are all of the questions that we have, we can go ahead and end the webinar for today. Thank you all so much for attending this webinar, and for Lrnr for co-hosting this. I know that I learned a lot. I'm sure that all of our attendees did as well. And please be on the lookout for our follow-up email with the recording, as well as future announcements that we have for future webinars with Lrnr. So thank you all so much. Have a great rest of your days.
Yeah, thank you so much. And if you have any questions, we will actually reach out to each one of you. If it's not been answered, we'll look at the chat, and then we'll send you out emails. So all of your questions will be answered. And again, please reach out to us if you want a more personalized demo. Thank you so much. And Lindsay, thank you so much for having this great webinar. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.